Why are people so mean to M. Night Shyamalan? Like, the dude gave us The Sixth Sense, Signs, Split, and now Knock at the Cabin. Is it because most people don't, like, absolutely love his newest offerings? Do you know how hard it is to make a film? I don't. You know why? Because I didn't make a film, because it looks really fucking hard. Hell, I struggle sometimes to make these videos, and I am cast, crew, director, writer, and editor. I don't have to manage anyone else. Not only that, do you know how hard it is to make 15 movies, and of those 15, have 6 that hit critically? I reckon it's pretty fucking tough to pull off. Which is why I am always slightly annoyed when a gun director puts something out and he gets shit upon from a great height just because previously in his back catalogue he's had a few misfires. A similar thing happens in music. Like, I love Parkway Drive. My favourite album of theirs is probably Deep Blue, which came out in 2010. My least favourite album of theirs is Darker Still, which came out in 2022. When Darker Still came out, they didn't go out and delete Deep Blue. Like, I'm still a Parkway fan. I can still listen to Deep Blue. I can still listen to Horizons and Killing with a Smile. They're still there for me to admire. They're still masterpieces that I can go and take in. I feel like when people talk about M. Night and horror, they talk about him like just because he made The Last Airbender means that all of his previous skill and accomplishments are now forfeit. It's really weird. Like, it's a weird choice for a punching bag. And, like, don't get me wrong, I was nervous going into this film, but that was only because I read the Paul Tremblay book that the movie is based on, and I loved it. Ironically, I read it while staying at an isolated cabin in northern New South Wales, but I love the book. And while I can see why some people who love the book take issue with the deviations that M. Night has taken, this movie's fucking good. This movie's good. I feel like it perfectly captures the vibe, the desperation, and the frustration that all the characters are feeling in the story. So, you know, fuck yeah, M. Night. Show 'em. Show 'em, M. Night. Also, Batista, my guy, Batista, 12 out of 10. Seriously, like, when he played Drax, I was like, yeah, he's good at Drax. Drax is like a character that was made for Batista, or at least that I thought was made for Batista. In this, he could be fucking Barbie in Barbie 2, and I reckon he'd still pull it off. Like, seriously, the dude's a talent. Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited. This film actually made me excited. Welcome to Spooky Nights. If you haven't watched before, I'm Jake. This is Spooky Nights, where I believe that there is a horror film out there for everyone, and I am determined. It is my mission to find yours. Now, this week I'm talking about M. Night Shyamalan's newest home invasion thriller, Knock at the Cabin. If you're here because you like the movie and want to hear me talk about it, stick around because there are other movie recommendations I think you'll like if you like this one at the end. In my opinion, Knock at the Cabin has one of the most interesting concepts in horror of the past decade. Like, it's such a good setup for a movie. A family, Eric, Andrew, and their adopted daughter Wen, are holidaying at a remote cabin. Knock at the Cabin. When 4 seemingly unrelated people turn up and present them with a choice. The choice is, you have to kill a member of your family by choice, or the world will end. And as we learn more about the family and more about the intruders, the line between whether this is some twisted game or the actual end times gets more and more blurred. Evidence goes this way and then it points that way, and we get to watch this weird, like, cat and mouse conversation piece happen, and it's fucking good.
My name's Leonard. Well, it's nice to meet you, Wen.
Why are you here?
I suppose I'm here to make friends with you. And your dad's too. But my heart is broken.
Why is it broken?
Because of what I have to do today. job to do. In fact, it might be the most important job in the history of the world.
Now, like I said, this movie is really good. Like, I didn't expect to like love this movie as much as I did. The elephant in the room is that they changed the ending from the book. Now, the book ending is super dark and super ambiguous. Not everyone loves that in a movie. You know who especially doesn't love ambiguous endings in horror movies? M. Night. All his movies tend to end quite clearly and cleanly and wrapped up in a neat little bow, and this is no different. I do think you benefit from not having read the book going in, because it's far more tense and surprising as you learn the backstories of the characters through the pacing in this film. And on that note, 10 out of 10 for pacing. Like, this is an hour and 40 minutes and it just pelts on by. Like, the craziness starts from the first 2 minutes where Batista's character Leonard and Kristen Cui's character Wen meet in the woods catching grasshoppers. Like, that is, it's 2 minutes. It's like the first scene in the film. And it sets up the entire movie beautifully. I know I said it in the intro, but Batista is a star in this movie, man. I want to see Batista in so many more films after this one. The character Leonard is such like a physically intimidating presence, but his actions and speech patterns showcase like a really deep kindness and empathy. And that has you on edge the entire time because, like, this is fucked up. Like, what he's asking people to do in this movie is really fucked up. But he's so understanding and he's patient and he's, you know, he's really, really trying to help this family. And it's just off. Like, the whole time you're like, why are you guys trying to make us go through this such heinous act if you understand how painful it is? He sort of, the vibe I got was like, he's like a prison guard giving a final meal to a prisoner before their final execution, or like a vet having to put an animal down. Like, he's really like, this is going to be horrible, but like, I'm here for you. Yeah, it's really weird, and he fucking nails it. He nails it. Like, all the acting really in this movie is amazing. Ben Aldridge plays Andrew, and he's like a man who has been frequently hurt by the world because of his sexuality. And he's got this rebellious, like, he's so rebelliously staunch in all his beliefs, and they pair him with Jonathan Groff's much, much meeker Eric, which is just genius casting. If you've seen Mindhunter, you know how good Jonathan Groff is as Holden. Tears, bring back Mindhunter, by the way. Tears for Mindhunter. In this, he plays a character that would drop an iron dagger if you killed him in Skyrim. Like, he's a real weak sort of like, okay, just take, and it's great. They bounce off each other perfectly. The whole time, there's tension between the intruders, but there's also tension between the couple, and it's really good. And they're both like good dads, but different kinds of dads. Like, one's sort of like ready to fucking fight like straight away, and the other one's like, let's logically think about this, let's just give them everything they want. It's really good. It's really good. This movie is really good at making you observe and question every action that is being taken at any point. And it wants you to examine it for evidence. Every minute you're asking yourself, is this the apocalypse, or are these guys just assholes? What is happening here? And it's because of that you empathize with every character at one point or another. And, they cover, there's like 7 characters in this, and they all sort of get a little bit of shine. And because of that, the pacing, it never feels drawn out. This movie never felt drawn out to me. I do think that there are character choices in this movie that can be quite frustrating. There's a bit of a scramble in a scene where a character just repeatedly fumbles and takes so fucking long to do anything that would be helpful that it annoyed me. Like, they sort of had an out, but the character's just like, oh, it's like the fumbling with the keys or trying to get it's that sort of shit. So if that annoys you, it annoyed me, it'll probably annoy you. They also actively didn't show any gore. Like, when something bad happens, they just sort of flick away, which is an interesting choice given how dark the subject matter of this film is. This is super dark. The subject matter is super dark. And, you know, the ending, it's been talked about to death online if you've seen it, but they changed the ending into a more sanitized ending. I didn't have a problem with the ending. Like, if you separate the book ending from the movie ending, think of them as two separate things, you should enjoy this movie. Like, I'm not mad. I liked both endings, to be honest. And I was like, yeah, sick. I get to see what happens. You know, it's like I'm sure in Baldur's Gate, if you chose a dialogue choice, saved it, and then chose the other dialogue choice, you're sort of getting that. You get a dark ending that's really ambiguous, or you get this one which is like more cinematic. All in all, this is top tier M. Night Shyamalan. Like, it's a fantastic thriller. Everyone acts their hearts out. Like, I'm not mad at this film at all. Like, was it my top 3? No. It could have... If I'd done my top 10, this might have slipped into, like, 9 or 10, to be honest. I thought it was pretty fucking good. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I recommend watching this if you love home invasion movies. There's a fucking bunch of them out there. I know they're a bit of a sore subject for some people. Some people just will stay the fuck away from them. This is a home invasion movie through and through, and it's a good one. So if you like home invasion movies, here's your next one. If you love playing Is It Monster or Is It Mental, perfect film to play that in. If you like trying to spot Shyamalan's like Stan Lee-like cameos, I love doing that in all his films. I'm like, he's going to pop up. Where the fuck is he? He's in this. See if you can spot him. If you want to see 4 of the craziest weapons I've seen in a really long time, check this out. Because, like, I'm telling you, these weapons, the weapons that they make in this movie are like, I'm getting real FromSoft vibes. Alright? They're cool. They're real cool. There's some dark side of shit. I like it. I don't recommend watching this if you want a scary blood-soaked horror. This is more dread than it is horror. If you hate slow burn horrors, run the other way. This is not for you. If you want to remember Rupert Grint as sweet, sweet boy Ron Weasley, not a psycho redneck, don't watch this film. He's fucking good in this, but he plays a far different character. If you have seen this movie, let me know what you think, especially if you've seen the book. Like, if you have seen the book, I really want to know your opinion on this, because I liked both. If you've seen M. Night's other films, Signs is an all-timer for me, especially The Scene. You know The Scene. If you've seen Signs, you know The Scene. It's a fucking killer of scene. Let me know too where you rate this in his like filmography. If you're looking for something like this but much more hardcore, 2011's Kill List is like a super crazy, much more hardcore version of like, is this real or am I being played? Which happens in this. Also, 10 Cloverfield Lane is another underrated movie that is extremely similar to this one. And it features a truly, truly crazy John Goodman performance, and it's a fucking banger. As always, thanks for watching. You guys are the best. Hope to see you next week for another review. Peace.